There it is on the screen. Or is it, which side is it on? I get confused because it's on the screen. Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of MavAttack. We're back here talking a little bit of horror games because I guess it's October and I'm just in the mood to discuss horror games and play them and all that stuff. So we're back in the building. We're talking about a game series called Condemned. Now, what is Condemned? Condemned is, to put it simply, it's a psychological horror game based on puzzle solving, melee combat, a little bit of gunplay, but for the most part, it's a survival horror game with some psychological stuff here and there, and some combat. Now, before I start going into detail about the Condemned games, explaining them, and just talking about where they're going in the future, I want to explain why this type of survival horror gameplay is my favorite. Now, for some reason, video games in the past few years have kind of swayed towards this, like, helpless feeling of like you can't fight, you can't do anything, you have to run and hide for your life, and it makes you feel helpless, it makes things become frantic for you, but at the same time, like, you can't defend yourself. Who in these games, like, okay, think about Outlast, for example. Outlast is going to be the perfect example of this because I feel like Condemned is like the best, better, bigger brother, more OP and better game version of Outlast. Outlast, for example, like, why is this journalist walking around with his video camera not throwing hands on these freaking, like, mongoloids? I just don't understand. So this is my favorite type of survival horror where you really feel like you're fighting for your life in every swing, every hit, every blow, and when you pick up a firearm or a weapon, you really feel like there's power behind it. Like, you have to conserve your ammo and you have to be really careful with it. I'm just not a fan of that. So let's get into Condemned 1. Condemned 1 stars you as Ethan Thomas. Now, he's a special investigator. He goes out to crime scenes and uses forensic science to kind of investigate and see what happened in a certain crime scene. You know, like you investigate for blood or you investigate for samples or, you know, different things like that. And he's on the hunt for Serial Killer X. Now, Serial Killer X is one mean-ass antagonist. I mean, this man is dirty. Think of Dexter. If you guys watch the TV show Dexter, he is on Dexter levels. Like, he goes around and kills other serial killers the way they kill people. Serial Killer X will find you and do the same thing to your ass for doing it to their asses. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, it's your investigation to find Serial Killer X and the different things that happen. It's a crazy ass narrative. I played it like a year ago on the channel. Like, I used to live stream it a lot earlier on when I live streamed, and then I did a Halloween horror special on the channel literally almost like a year ago where I played Condemned and PT and a few other games. So if you guys want to check that out, there it is on the screen. Or is it, which side is it on? I get confused because it's on the screen. It focuses on melee combat and investigating and puzzle solving. Now, there are weapons and gunplay, but the guns, you only get, you know, 3 or 4 bullets at a time. You know, it's really, you have to spare your ammo, and weapons can break, melee weapons can break. Unfortunately, in the first one, there's no, like, fist fighting or anything, but you can pick up objects in the environment and just destroy hobos or destroy druggies. It's scary atmosphere. They will hit you with some creepy ass jump scares, and sometimes, you know, you won't even know people are following you around until they jump out from behind something and just try to tear your ass up. Ooh, shotgun. Ooh, what the freak? Ooh, dang. Back up. So that game had some really awesome mechanics. You know, it's a decent game with good scares, good atmosphere, decent gameplay, and a decent story with a questionable ending, which then rolls in Condemned 2 Bloodshot. Now, Condemned 2 Bloodshot was a sequel to Condemned Criminal Origins, and it was actually released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, whereas Condemned 1 was only released on 360 and PC, which I have it on PC. But I played Bloodshot on PlayStation 3, and you play as the same protagonist as you played as in the first Condemned. Condemned 2 still has you chasing after Serial Killer X, but this time there's a few different gameplay changes that really took what Condemned 1 did and just enhanced it on so many levels. Like the combat, for example, you can actually fist fight instead of having to always pick up melee weapons. And not only that, but you can string together combos with more visceral attacks. Just like the first one, you can knock opponents to their knees and figure out which way you want to execute them. You can break their neck, you can freaking slam them, body slam them, headbutt them. You could like knock somebody out, elbow them, or like punch them, grab them, and throw them into like a spike wall. And while I'll say Condemned 2 was not near as good as the original game, it still brought a lot of those original horror themes, those survival elements to the game. And it really just continued where that one left off. I mean, I remember there's an instance in the gameplay where you end up in the forest, right? It's snowy, it's cold, you're in the forest by yourself. You have to make your way up to this log cabin. Big ass, creepy ass, freaking maniacal looking log cabin. You go into this log cabin and you just see dead SWAT agent. I think they're SWAT or they're CIA or something. A bunch of dead people up in this cabin, right? So you're walking around, you hear like kind of rumbling, some roars. You're like, what the heck is that? And then boom, it freaking hits you. You get chased through a freaking snow cabin by a giant ass grizzly bear. I'm like, what the fuck? There are just some really ridiculous set pieces in this game, and like I said, the combat is just perfected from the first one. And also, even though it's like more hilarious than even scary or anything, it did have atmosphere, but it was more tacked on. There was a multiplayer game mode where they had a game mode called like Bum Rush, and there was like team deathmatch, but it would put the homeless hobos or the druggies against like some police force, you know, like CIA agents, and they would have to go against each other in like just random game modes. And it's just so freaking hilarious, like playing it, hearing people struggle and die and like get hit with stuff. So those first two games are some of my all-time favorite horror games. So that's kind of as quickly as I could at least, explaining Condemned 1 and 2. Like, they're very awesome psychological survival horror games. Alright, so where is Condemned going? Where is Condemned at all? So Condemned co-creator and rights owner Jace Hall, he actually went and purchased the rights not too long ago, and then came out publicly to say, you know, I really have interest in a Condemned 3 game. Like, I want all of you indie developers, send me your resumes, pitch your ideas. I want all your creative thoughts and efforts. Bring this my way and we'll discuss. And I want to pick a team to make this game amazing. So Jace Hall wants to just give them all rights, like no limitations. He wants to see all ideas pitched. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a third Condemned game. It could still be a Condemned titled game, but it doesn't have to be like a direct sequel or anything in, you know, in the timeline. It can be a completely brand new story. And so when Jace was asked about like possible Condemned remasters, he was like, you know, we'd have to bring in WB, Sega on that, you know, the publishers would have to come in and talk about. And so I think what Jace just wants to do, he just wants a new game. Yeah, I think Jace is like me, man. I'm just fucking tired of remasters. Like, don't remaster some shit I can already play. Give me a brand new experience. You know what I'm saying? Jace, if you're watching this, man, I see you, man. I see you, man. Hit me up. You know what I'm saying? MavAttack official at gmail.com, baby. Let's go. So he wants to make a new game without the big wigs involved. And I know there's already, you know, talk about, you know, is there a new game coming out? Did he get the crew and everything? Now, he stated, and this was a few months back, but he stated that, you know, people did get in contact with him and he's still talking to people. And so I'm not sure if he actually found a crew that he wanted or if he's still out there looking. So, you know, I'm not sure what his mindset is. I'm not sure where he wants to go with it, but, you know, there's two sides of a coin. There's always, you know,
I just want Condemned to live because I'm passionate about it. I purchased this. I want it to live. Gamers love the name. Let's bring this game back.
Or the other side of the coin, which is,
damn, I bought Condemned and I don't have a development studio. Well, I don't know what to do with this damn franchise, so hey, yo, internet, y'all got an indie devs y'all can bring on the squad real quick? I'm trying to get this game made, man. Hook it up. Slide into my DMs real quick, baby.
So whatever the case may be, Condemned is a very awesome game franchise. You can get the first one on Steam. It's like 15 bucks on Steam, I think it is. And the second one, Condemned 2 Bloodshot, is on PS3 and Xbox 360. If you have not had the chance to check those out, I highly suggest picking those up at, you know, the bargain bin price and running through those games, especially it being almost Halloween. Be sure to check those out. Those are freaking awesome games, and I hope that whether it be Condemned something or Condemned 3, I hope that whenever that does come out, it is the game that we have all been waiting for. And speaking of threes, I'm still waiting on that damn Manhunt 3. Where you at, Rockstar? But with all that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching this episode of MavAttack. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to freaking smack that like button as always. All you he-mans stay rad, and all you she-mans stay fab, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of MavAttack, motherfucker. A little bit of gunplay and a lot of bit of puzzle solving. All right. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? All right. What's going on? Cold. All right, here we go. Hey, what's going on?